This is a gaming computer that I bought used for $400. Now it didn't look this good when I first bought it, but it actually turned out to be a pretty solid pickup. So be sure to watch the whole video so you can see me buy this thing off of Facebook Marketplace, test it out, and I even do some upgrades to it, and I get it looking really nice. This video is sponsored by Super CDK. If you just built a gaming PC or you're flipping computers, then you need to activate Windows on your builds. Go ahead and visit them down below. They have Windows 10, Windows 11, and even discounted game keys. Add whatever key you want to your cart. Be sure to use the discount code SPLA to save a little bit of extra money on checkout. Activating the key is super simple. Just copy and paste it straight into your window activation settings. Click activate and bam, Windows is activated. Thank you Super CDK, and be sure to visit them down below. I'm in the whip right now and I'm actually on my way to go get a deal that I found last night on my Facebook Marketplace. I was just doing my thing, you know, scrolling. I was laying in bed, came across this deal. Now as I was looking at the pictures, I noticed the specs. I was like, this is an insane deal. I have to get it. So I sent the seller a message, and luckily this morning they got back to me, and we're gonna go get it. Crazy thing is, this guy's only 4 minutes away from me. Normally when I go get a deal off of Facebook Marketplace, it's like a minimum of 20 minutes away. It's like a 40-minute round trip. But this is nice. It's only gonna take me like 10 minutes to get this thing and bring it back home. Alrighty, I just made it home after that long 4-minute drive. And I know this computer already works because the guy sent me a video of it running before I picked it up. And he also let me inside his house, so I doubt he would sell me a broken system. He was pretty nice enough to throw in a free keyboard and a mouse. It looks like it probably just came with this because it is an Ibuypower pre-built, and these have Ibuypower branding all over them. But let's go ahead and plug it in and kind of confirm for you and me that it actually does work. Flip the power switch, press the power button. Okay, fans are all spinning. Oh wow. Ugh, that dust is stanky. Come on baby, give us a post. Oh, it just boot cycled. Come on. Let's go. Woo, woo, woo. This is freaking awesome. Nice, looks like he got us a fresh install of Windows, so that's always nice. Let me read you the description, and then you'll tell me if you think this was a crazy deal or not. Keep in mind, I paid $400. It says, been a great PC. I use it as a streaming PC, but I just don't stream enough for it. Specs, i9 9900K, 1660 Super, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 500 gigabyte M.2, Windows 11, and a 1 terabyte hard drive. And he also mentioned it has RGB fans, but the motherboard doesn't have the right connection for it. And but we should be able to get those RGB fans to work. Anyways, 400 bucks for this thing is freaking insane. I could literally take better pictures of it, get the RGB working, and probably flip it for like 300 profit. But I'm not gonna do that. Well, not yet at least. What I am gonna do though, I'm gonna test this thing out, see what kind of performance we get from it, and then I'm gonna take it apart, see if we can't fix it or make it any better. Now hold up, what do I mean by fix it? Some people would say it's already a good PC, and those people wouldn't be wrong. It's an awesome computer, but like I said, it is an Ibuypower pre-built, and here are the initial things I noticed that are wrong with it. First things first is the obvious bottleneck and just the really unbalanced hardware configuration altogether. I mean, you have the i9 9900K being paired with a freaking Intel stock cooler that looks like it went to the gym a couple times. I guarantee that little i9 is screaming under that CPU, but we'll check the temps when we test it out in a little bit. For the rest of the hardware, it is pretty decent. It just doesn't make sense to have an i9, and looking at the front of the PC, we see that it actually has an i7 sticker, so I'm not too sure what happened here. The last thing I noticed that's wrong with it is just the dust buildup. I mean, it's pretty bad. I'm recording on my phone right now because it picks it up so much better than my camera, but you can literally see like there's hair and it's just so dusty. And if you look closely, those look like pubes, right? Swear. But other than those few things, the build looks to be in alright condition, and surprisingly the cable management doesn't look all too bad. And we also got 2 sticks of RAM instead of 1, which is something you don't come across often in the world of pre-builts, so I'm gonna count that as a W. Before we clean up this PC though, let's go ahead and get some initial tests and see how it performs. The first game I'm gonna be testing is of course Fortnite. These initial tests are just to kind of see how the computer is performing before we tinker with it, so we have something to compare it to at the end of the video when we do tinker with it. So in Fortnite, these are the settings I'm using, just at 1080p with performance mode, 100% 3D res scale, far view distance, and everything else on low. Let's go, baby. Landing classy courts. I haven't even landed here yet on this new map. Game is playing pretty smooth. Looks like we're averaging right around 120 FPS. The CPU is somehow running cooler than I thought it was going to. Oh, there was a little lag spike. That guy just got wrecked. Bruh. What's this guy do? Alright, this guy's fake. This guy's fake. Well, the computer isn't performing too bad. Let's move on to the next game. Alrighty, next game up is Apex Legends. These are the settings I'm using. 1080p, high settings on the textures, and then everything else is basically on low. It is just in a team deathmatch, so FPS numbers might be different if you were in a normal BR mode, but we'll see what we can do. We can see the CPU, it is running a bit hotter than it was in Fortnite. What the hell, bro? Let me in! The game is doing really good though. I mean, we're like holding a steady 200 FPS, which is pretty sick. Now for a AAA title to push the hardware just a little bit more. I'm in Hogwarts Legacy and it just defaulted to Ultra, so I guess we'll just keep it at that. Now right off the bat, it's not achieving like a 60 FPS average or anything, but it is playing it. My main thing is I just want to keep an eye on the CPU temperature. Do any of you guys actually play this game? Comment down below. Let me know what games you would like to see me benchmark more often. I recently have added like more AAA titles like Cyberpunk and Hogwarts Legacy, but I honestly don't really know what's popular. All I know is like Fortnite and Apex. Those are also free, so they are easier to test. Game runs great. Let's go ahead and drop the settings down though to maybe like high. Just see if we can get that 60 FPS. All right, instantly, oh, kinda. We were above 60. Some dips here and there. I bet medium would be the best option for this computer though. I also decided to run the in-game benchmark in Cyberpunk just to test another AAA title. I ran it with the high settings preset and it got an average FPS of 70 with a 1% low of 51. The last test I ran were some Cinebench 2024 stress tests. I ran one for the GPU, which was 10 minutes, and I also ran a multi-core test for the CPU. The GPU maxed out at a temperature of 63°C with a hotspot of 75. Those temps are honestly perfect and it got a score of 3,367. Now the CPU was getting a bit toasty just as I expected it to, and it had a max temperature of 85°C and got a score of 553. Honestly, I was expecting the CPU to hit closer to 100 degrees. Anyways, let's go ahead and give this computer a little TLC. So the first step was to clean this computer up a little so it stops leaving dust all over my desk. I took that dusty pre-built outside and got straight to blowing it. If you guys are using canned air, I'm telling you to stop right now and buy yourself an electric air duster. You will save money in the long run, and on the plus side, you won't be producing as much trash, and the one I use will be linked down below. After getting majority of the dust blown out of the system, I got it back inside and got straight to work on it. I was going to clean the GPU, but considering the temps were perfectly fine during the initial test, and when I blew out the dust, there was like no dust that came out of this thing, so I'm gonna leave it as is. I mean, this 1660 Super looks like it's new. It's in really good condition, which is surprising because all the dust that was in the front fans. The next task was the CPU cooler, and to be completely honest, I was surprised with this little thing. I was expecting the i9 to run a lot hotter than it did, but props to this little roided up Intel stock cooler. It did pretty good cooling it. But to ensure the CPU will run nice and chilly going forward, I decided to buy a budget AIO off of Amazon. The one I got is from ID Cooling. It's their FrostFlow X 240mm AIO. I did happen to score this on a lightning deal, and I paid $50.13. I went with this one because it was affordable, and plus it looks really sleek, basically being an all blacked out design. Now the last and final thing to fix is the RGB. You can't have a gaming PC without it. The buyer was right. The motherboard in the PC just didn't have the right connection for it. It had the other RGB header, but we need a 3-pin, not a 4-pin. Slap me and call me surprised. I mean, the motherboard had a Type-C header, which was weird to see, considering the fact that it didn't have the other RGB header. But anyways, it was a simple fix. I just grabbed an RGB controller and plugged it in. The one I used is from Metro. It comes with their AIOs, and I just happen to have one more left. You should just be able to use any SATA powered RGB controller and it should work fine. Well, moment of truth. Let's see if this thing turns back on. I mean, it should, unless I don't know what I'm doing. If it doesn't turn back on, I'll stop uploading on my YouTube channel. All right, flip the power switch, press the power button. There we go. Oh, and I'm here. Okay, I think this is probably just a boot cycle because I did reseat that CPU. There we go. Hear all that water rushing. Come on, baby. Should probably plug in the DisplayPort cable. There we go, baby. It took a couple boot cycles. I was kind of scared. I thought I was gonna have to stop uploading. Waiting for it to post though. Uh-oh. The yellow mem light on the motherboard is on. So I'm gonna try to reseat the memory. It's weird though, because I didn't even touch it at first, so I'm not sure what's going on. Already second moment of truth. Come on, baby. Well, damn, maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Should this be my last upload? No, I'm joking, but I guess I'm gonna fix this off camera and I'll be back. I'm back. All I did was just reseat the CPU, applied some fresh thermal paste, and then the computer just boot cycled a couple more times, and then it booted up. I'm not exactly sure what happened. All I know is sometimes computers can be weird. Sometimes all you need to do is just reseat the RAM, or in this case, just reseat the CPU and it'll work. Anyways, the build turned out pretty good. It's crazy how good RGBs can make a computer look. I know a lot of people don't like RGBs, some people do, some people don't, but let me know what you think of the transformed build down below. I think it turned out great, but now let's go ahead and retest it so we can compare the test results. Alrighty, we're loading back into Fortnite. We're using the same exact settings, performance mode, 100% 3D res scale, far view distance, and everything else on low. See how it does. First thing I noticed is diving down, CPU is running a lot cooler than it was the first time around. No one's landing with me. Perfect. Oh, yay, a bot. Bro, in my opinion, Epic Games choked with this season, dude. They should have never taken out the OG. It's so dumb. Like, dude, I'm not gonna fight bots, bro. Like, what? Dude, your aim is so bad. Why did they even have you in the game? Another thing I'm noticing, apart from the stupid bots, we are averaging less FPS than the first time around. What is up with Fortnite? Well, the game ran out of real people to give me, so let's move on to the next game. We're back with Apex Legends. We're in another team deathmatch. Same exact settings as last time. Very high on the textures. TSAA is on, and then everything else is on low. I think Epic Games needs to learn from Apex, EA, or whoever, because this game runs smooth. Fortnite, on the other hand, that game is so unoptimized. Like, bro. I hope you chased me. I hope you did. Oh my goodness. Alrighty, well, I'm gonna finish out this benchmarking run and then we'll compare the test results before I did the cleaning and the upgrade, and then after I did the upgrade, and see if there was much of a difference. Well, the benchmarking is done, and you probably already know what the biggest performance gain will be between the before and after test. In Fortnite, the first time it averaged 198 FPS with a 1% low of 16. And like I said, the second time around, it was averaging closer to 160, which was less, but as I played the match longer, it leveled out and it averaged 197 FPS, which is 1 frame lower, but the 1% lows is where we saw a big improvement. It achieved a 67, which is about 4 times better than the first time, and that resulted in a smoother experience for sure. In Apex Legends, the results were pretty close as well, but we saw the same thing in Fortnite. We averaged 1 frame less. The first time it scored an average of 192 with a 1% low of 141. And then the second time it averaged 191 FPS with a 1% low of 129. Now the 1% lows were lower, but it's nothing to write home about. The game still played really well. Now for the AAA titles, we saw a nice improvement in Hogwarts Legacy, but but the results were pretty similar in Cyberpunk. In Hogwarts Legacy, the first time around, the computer averaged 46 FPS with a 1% low of 23. The second time around, it scored a 56 FPS average with a 1% low of 29. Now in Cyberpunk though, the first time it averaged 70 FPS with a 1% low of 51, and the second time it literally only changed by one number. So the FPS numbers were pretty similar throughout all the games I tested, but the biggest improvement I saw was in the temperatures. The first time I ran the Cinebench multi-core test, the CPU scored 553 and it had a max temperature of 85°C. Now the second time around, it did score a little less at 528, but the max CPU temperature was almost cut in half, with it tapping out at 55°C. And we even happened to see a slight improvement with the GPU temperatures. In the Cinebench GPU stress test, the first time it maxed out with a temperature of 63°C, and the second time around, it had a maximum temperature of 59. Not a huge improvement, but an improvement nonetheless. That just shows how important it is to not let your computer get super dusty. Overall, this computer deal turned out to be pretty solid. Let me know what you think of it down below. As I said in the beginning of the video, I will be flipping this computer for profit, but I will be swapping out that 1660 Super and pairing it with a Ryzen 5, and then I'll be pairing the i9 with this RTX 2080 Super that I scored for $100. If you would like to purchase any of those computers, go ahead and give me a follow over at jawa.gg. My account will be linked down below. That's where I'll be posting all my future PC builds. Anyways, smash a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you loved it, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.